Hello YouTube. So tonight I'm gonna rank all the Ghostface killers based on my opinion. And before I get started, this will contain some spoilers, so spoiler alert if you haven't seen any of the Scream movies. Now let me get started. On last place, we'll have to go to Greg. Only because he didn't get a chance to do anything because he basically got butchered in the beginning of the sixth film. So yeah, there you have it. Next will be Coral, because he also didn't really kill anybody. Not at all, actually. I will give him props for being an expert of breaking and entering. That I will give him. But yeah, he didn't manage to kill Sydney or Tatum, her daughter, and got ran over by Gail. So yeah. Next will be Richie, because he only killed one person, which was fuck, I forgot his name, but he was like related to Stu Mocker. He was a creepy stalker guy who kept on hitting on Liv. So yeah, he only had one kill. I do like him as a character, but as a Ghostface, not really. He mostly did his partner all the work, and basically got destroyed. And towards the end, he got destroyed by Sam Carpenter. Next will be Quinn, only because she only had one kill, which was Gil's boyfriend, and it wasn't really a memorable kill. And failed to kill Mindy. So, she's pretty. Oh, and also failed to kill Chad, along with his brother. So, yeah, she's pretty incompetent when it comes to being a Ghostface killer. So, that's why she's pretty low on my list. Next will have to be Jason. He did manage to have one kill, and it was pretty brutal. And probably would have done a lot more. And he probably would have killed a lot more if he didn't get killed by Wayne. Next will be Mrs. Loomis. I know I probably will get a lot of hate on this one, but I put her pretty low on my list because she only had one kill, and even though it was a memorable kill, she managed to kill one of the main characters. But aside from all that, she didn't really did nothing. She would just pretend to play reporter or the press the entire of the movie. But I will give her props for being a good planner and very calculated of her plans and what it achieved if she didn't stop talking to Sydney and just shoot her in the face. And yeah, next will be Ethan. I know. I did put Ethan over Mr. Loomis, and the reason why is because he managed to have some good kills in the whole apartment scene. But he was also pretty incompetent. He failed to kill Chad, but he did good. He did pretty well when it comes to like playing innocent. Next will be Marco. Honestly, I would have put Marco, lower in the list, but he did have 3 body counts. He did brutally kill Scott and his girlfriend Madison in the beginning of the 7th film. Very brutally. One was burned alive, and then he killed Ben very gruesomely too. So that's why he's a bit high on the list. Next will be Jessica. Aside from her confused motive, I thought she was pretty brutal as a Ghostface killer. She managed to kill 4 people. One is her son, very brutally, Michael Myers style. And I like how unhinged and crazy she is. Also like I think she does a very good Stu impression. If you know, you know. And I like her demise too. So yeah. I might get a lot of hate on this one, but next one will be Billy. For 2 reasons. He only had 4 kills. And He was Big Mama's boy. I know he's an OG, but that's why I put him pretty low on my list because of that reason. Next would be Charlie. You know, he managed to have 4 kills. One was extremely brutal, and his motive was kind of weak. You know, he mostly did it for love, so he was just a big simp. So yeah. Next will be Wayne. Wayne was actually pretty brutal. You know, the reason why I put it a little bit lower on my list is because his motivation is revenge. So he have a legit reason to kill. It's not like he's just doing it for fun. You know, and even though he's very vengeful, and to some extent you actually kind of like you can help to kind of like feel bad for him. You know, you could really tell that he was very close to Richie, and but he was very passive aggressive towards his victims, and he was a savage, Wayne. That's why he's pretty high on my list. Next has to be Stu. Yeah, even though he only have 4 bodies, and I just really like his character. I like how crazy and unhinged he is, you know. But he's pretty low on my list only because he's basically Billy Luzman's bitch, and you could tell he's like kind of like intimidated by him, you know. So, not to mention he's scared of his parents when Sydney made a phone call to the authorities. So yeah. But aside from that, I really like him. I know a lot of people will hate me for putting him pretty low on my list, but you know, with all the clues going around, and it might be true, he might end up being really high on my list in the future. So stay tuned on that. Next, these two are a hard one for me because I like them like equally both. I think they're both ruthless, but right now, next has to be Amber. I really like this character. You know, I think it's adorable how she acts. Like once she revealed herself as a Ghostface killer, and she's also very brutal too, and very manipulative. You know, she would have had me fooled for sure. But she's also very brutal, like I mentioned, and managed to kill one of the main legacy characters. So to this day, people are really pissed off about that. Me personally, like it's a slasher. You know, your favorite characters are gonna known to be killed, and he had a long run. You know, he managed to survive many countless possible deaths. So his time was running up anyways. But yeah, that's why I like Amber because I had to give her props for that, and she's just a fun character. The next one will be Jill. Now the reason why I put Jill a little bit higher than Amber, not just because she has a much higher body count than Amber, but she's also very ruthless, and I mean she killed her mom. She shot her ex boyfriend on the dick or balls because because he cheated on her. Which, me personally, I don't think is a legit reason to do that, especially when he tried to apologize multiple times throughout the film. That was pretty fucked up. And yeah, I mean, she was trying to kill her own cousin at the end, all because she was getting all the fame and now she wants to be famous, and her plan would have worked. Action wounds with Gail, she would have got away with it. I also like I almost put it under Amber only because I didn't like the fact that she was kind of whiny and bratty about her motive. But I still think I think she's more ruthless than Amber, so that's why I put her a little bit higher. That's why I put her over her. Next, had to go with Roman. Now, the only reason why I put Roman under One Last Ghostface is because yeah, even though he has a high body count and a lot of his kills are creative, and I like the fact that he was way ahead of his time with his voice changer. You know, able to have like the matching voice of his of other people. But I put it lower on my list because he just, much like Billy Loomis, he's a huge mama's boy, and he was kind of like whining towards the end too, once he revealed himself. But I will give him props for being the only killer of the franchise. But the go for me has to go for Mickey Altieri. The reason why is because unlike Stu, he's very like calm about it, about everything he's doing, and to some extent he is doing it for fame, like, and it would have worked too. Like he would have like got away with it in a way, but of course they would lock him up to a mental institution, but he would have dodged prison for sure if you know if Mr. Loomis didn't shoot him and betrayed him. But yeah, but remind you, he's also he was already a serial killer before putting on the Ghostface mask and costume. His body count was 7, and he probably have a lot higher than that. If we know more about his background. So yeah, that's why Mickey's on top. He's the GOAT. He's my favorite Ghostface killer of the franchise. And that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think. Who's your favorite Ghostface? If you have a list, let me know. Post on a comment. And y'all have a good night.